Hello, everyone. We're back with tribalization in America, and specifically, we're going to be covering characteristics of a tribe in today's society from Argyle and my perspective. Obviously, we have not done a lot of field research except just living. So, speaking of that, Argyle has a real life uh, situation, case study. You want to kick this episode off?
Yeah. So, and here's what's funny about it. Like, I thank God I didn't experience this, but I'm not sure if you watch Netflix. But there is a Netflix show on called Keep Sweet and Obey.
No.
I'm telling you, if you have not watched it, it's a 4-part special. And my son ironically came to me. He was like, "Dad, you have got to watch this." And it's about Warren Jeffs. You know anything about Warren Jeffs?
I know nothing.
Warren Jeffs is a polygamist.
All right.
Who in 2008, his compound was raided by the feds. They took away 400 plus children. They took them into custody because there were some signs of abuse.
All right.
And at the time, he had 78 wives. 78 wives.
This episode sponsored by Advil.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing. Of the 78 wives, 24 of them were underage.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Well,
so there's a special place, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, we debated, about whether or not he deserved jail time or a bullet in the middle of his forehead or just to be tortured an hour every day for the rest of his life. So like all the women, had this pleated hair. They all wore the exact same thing. And he would, if you were, elder guy, he would often arrange marriages. He would come to the families and say, "Your daughter, at 14 years old, God, because I'm a prophet, God has told me that it is time for your daughter to marry Jacob," right? And then he would take the 14-year-old girl and give her to Jacob. So clearly, like, to be a member of this tribe, because that's what it was. Like, it was, it was older white dudes who wanted to have sex with underage girls tribe is what it was. And I think your topics for this week, you wanted to talk about like characteristics of a tribe in today's society. Like these guys had it down to a science where they were brainwashing both men and women. They were brainwashing the guys and thinking you had to have 3 wives in order to get into heaven, a minimum of 3 wives.
All right.
And brainwashing the women to believe that that it was your duty, because of what the prophet says, who was getting it from God, to basically be a wife and not have a job and not listen to outside music, etc.
Yeah.
Fascinating. It was a fascinating case in tribalism, because this guy's in jail today, and you would think that it would have dissolved, but no, he's still running it from inside jail because they all want to be a part of this tribe, and they're separated from the rest of society, and they don't want to have anything to do with anyone outside of this group. It's the fundamentalist group of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Church of Latter-day Saints or something.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So it's a fascinating thing, and so when I looked at this, when you talk about your topic, like what are the characteristics of a tribe? Like, these people have a common worldview. Like their view is that their way is the right way.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world is corrupt, and that's what that tribe of people believe in. And so I'm thinking, in this case, I guess cult is nothing but a tribe with a religious philosophy. Like, that's technically what it is. And they do everything to keep everybody away. And the way that you could get kicked out of this particular tribe is say something against the prophet, or have the prophet think that you're in some way threatening him, this guy Warren Jeffs, and they will completely kick you out. Like, and they kicked you out, like, because they own the houses and they own the cars, and they often, if you were a business person, they often, you know, took all the business profits, and they literally took businesses from people, family businesses from people, and they would kick the guy out if they thought he was in any way threatening the, you know, the common view of the tribe, which is mind blowing. So if you haven't seen it, again, it's called Keep Sweet and Obey, because that's what they told the women. You need to, regardless of what's going on,
Right.
you need to stay sweet and you need to obey. Keep sweet and obey. And they had songs with Keep Sweet and Obey, and signs up everywhere about
Interesting.
Obey. And so it's worth a watch. Again, you know, my son told me about it. About a guy named Warren Jeffs, and I got to tell you, I don't know how I missed this in the news. Like,
well, yeah, there seems to be, you know, every now and then those type of cults pop up, because you had Waco way back, and that had a big standoff with the ATF and things of that nature. And then there was one very similar to what you're describing, but I don't think to the magnitude. In upstate New York, there was a guy who had all the women tattoo themselves with his initials, and very, very, very similar in the standpoint of
it might not be a bad idea. It might not be a bad idea.
I could go a bunch of different directions with that. Let's save that for a topic
actually
all to itself.
I think we should talk to our better halves tonight about doing that.
There you go. So all right, let's kind of discuss that point, cults versus tribes, and obviously there's a lot of similarity, right?
Yeah.
But the interesting thing I think you find with cults, and you know, I lived some years near Amish area of Pennsylvania, and that it seems that the cult side of it seems to push away. They don't want really intruders on their space, unless you're ready to join
the cult.
They're more separatists, I think, as far as cults, because they figure, if we fly under the radar and we just kind of recruit under the radar, we'll grow, but we won't be confrontational with other tribes, and we won't be exposed.
Right. I guess there's some validity to that. I didn't know you live near an Amish.
Yeah.
I tell you what, they're the only ones not complaining about gas prices now. But I wish I had a horse and buggy right about now. But anyway. I guess you're right. If you look at some of the tribes we see, I keep going back to the one that everybody's talking about now, if you're watching the January 6th hearings or not, but there's a whole mega tribe that that seems like they would rather, again, it's back to that common world view, they would rather be in the tribe and believe and not be introduced to the truth than to be introduced to the truth and leave the tribe, right?
I gave that specific tribal group some thought, and kind of went past I think past the political aspect of it, and came up with, they believe that they're gathered together, and I think a characteristic in general of tribes is they have a sense of what's fair. They think that it's fair that they have to move forward with what their view of the United States is, because
Yep.
it's been
Sure.
unfair to them to this point. And I think that if you remove it, and then the political side of it kind of filters into from there, because I think you have that could be applied to a number of different tribes as far as they gather with people because they have a common view of what's fair to them in their world.
Right.
And like you said, it doesn't really have any relation to the truth at certain levels.
Right. Yeah. And I think you're right. I mean, it's funny that I think the MAGA tribe existed long before Donald Trump.
And I agree.
Right. I think he might have been the catalyst.
A great marketer.
And a great marketer, right? Exactly. And a phenomenal marketer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that tribe has been here for a long time. And he kind of gave them the comfort zone to be proud to be in that tribe. Because I think before they were in the tribe, they weren't really talking about the tribe. They might have been talking amongst themselves at tribal meetings, right?
But
they weren't. He made it okay for them to have public tribal meetings of 20,000 members, right?
Right.
I think all of those things that you said that they believe in, their worldview has existed probably for 50 years or longer, going back to the 60s or so, and he made it fashionable, if you will, to be vocal about what they thought in that tribe. So
because I mean, we're sticking with the U.S. and tribalization of the U.S., but there's obviously a number of different examples that stem earlier in older societies. But I think that it's a sense of we are being taken advantage of, and now I'm talking at a much broader level, and you can group a lot of different tribes with this type of thought process, and a lot of them are completely valid, but we've been taken advantage of for and our lives are not going to get better unless we change something, and some of them are changing to a new spot on the map, and some are trying to change it to an old spot on the map.
I totally agree with that. So here's a question. So you asked the question, what are some of the primary factors that contribute to being accepted by a tribe? Is one of them blind loyalty to the tribe, do you think?
I don't know if blind loyalty, it certainly could. It certainly could. And I also think it's a shared values and goals.
Absolutely.
Right. And then you get into another topic that I'm really unclear on, but what kind of contribution are you making to the tribe? And it depends on the tribe. Some could be passive, some could be an active contribution. But is that a factor in being accepted into the tribe?
I would think so. And even if it's not about acceptance in the tribe, it certainly would lend itself to your standing in the tribe, right? If there's a hierarchy in the tribe, the more that you add to the tribe, more value add to the tribe, the more power you have within the tribe, right?
Specifically if you're active in the tribe, promoting the tribal mantra,
right? And helping to get to its desired end result, like overthrowing the government. I'm sorry.
Right. And then you have others, other tribes that have absolutely no interest in being recognized, right? Like the Amish. If I'm in the Amish tribe, I have no interest.
No desire, right?
No.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just I want to cruise at my pace in my area, and
Yeah.
if I woke up tomorrow and the rest of the world was be gone, I'd be more than happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and for the record, today's podcast is sponsored by the Amish because if you need some good ribs, go to the Italian market in Philadelphia, and not the Italian market, to the Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia. Those ribs are ridiculous. Just saying, if you get a slab of those ribs, they're amazing. But anyway, so yeah, I think you're spot on there. Obviously, there's some that don't want to be recognized, fly under the radar. And here's a question. So I guess you asked a question about what are some of the primary factors of being accepted. Like, what about like the Hell's Angels? Like that's a tribe. I mean, technically, a motorcycle gang's a tribe, and to be accepted in that tribe, you got to have some dirt under your nails, I believe, based on urban legend. Like, if you're going to be in Hell's Angels, you got to kick some booty every now and again, right?
Yeah, street cred. I don't think that's any different than any gang in Compton or anything else, because
why the gang have to be from Compton? Why can't the gang be from? Why the gang have to be from Compton? Like,
okay, so
why can't it be from Gary, Indiana? Like,
all right.
So I told my son I wanted a Harley, and he looked at me and was like, "You're not Harley material."
Yeah,
I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like,
I don't know what that means.
I don't know if it was a compliment or an insult, right?
What does that mean? I completely have no idea what that means.
I should probably ask him. Right. I'm not, for whatever reason, I'm not Harley material. So, because I want to be a member of that tribe. That's the tribe. I want to be a member of the Harley tribe. Because there's some badassness with it that I just I want to be a part of that. But
it's probably just the name. Argyle can't be riding a Harley.
There you go. You nailed it in true Jim fashion. You completely nailed it. Kind of hard to be tough if you're named after a sock design. I know. I just sweaters. I get it. You got it. That's funny. That's really funny. Hey, did you watch Sons of Anarchy?
I have in the past. Yeah.
Did you ever finish it?
No.
Yeah. See, I want to be a part of that.
I rarely finish anything. I can't finish shows. My ADHD, I just move on to something else.
Right. So you will turn me on to a show and then not finish it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, the good thing about this show, about the tribe that is the Warren Jeffs tribe or whatever, it's only 4 episodes. You can't. It's only 4 episodes.
I can buy into that.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, my daughter tried to get me into Grey's Anatomy for 18 seasons. No. I'm like,
no,
sorry,
can't do it. 18 seasons they've been around. Yeah, no desire whatsoever. I have never seen a complete episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Me neither, because it's been on so long.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, don't want to be a member of that tribe. Don't want to be a member of that tribe. So, so what do you think? I mean, one of your questions is, what do you think are characteristics of, the primary factors of contributing to being accepted in the tribe? We've got common worldview. We've got shared desired goal or outcome, right? What else do you think might be part of that?
Well, I think a lot of things stem from that, but also to a point, well, not to a point, but I also think that there's some personal gains that are considered, and that can be say financial benefit. It could be completely unselfish, and it could be community benefit. There's lots of people that belong to organizations that contribute time, money, effort, and there's a lot of personal benefit from being involved with those type of tribes. People that really feel a sense of completeness when they either share their the benefit of the life they have by trying to raise others up, either by mentoring or donating time, not just not that type of stuff. I don't think just writing a check would fall under that category, but you have very different type of self-fulfilling benefits that you gain from being in the tribe, and subsequently you want to stay in that tribe.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's funny, your worldview or your view of tribes seems way more positive than my view of tribes.
Well, that's
okay. Society. I'm talking about Hell's Angels. You're talking about them donating money. I'm talking about them storming the Capitol. Like, I've got a totally different view of tribes.
That's great. I like that. Because you know where it falls, right in the middle.
Right in the middle, right, exactly, right, exactly. Maybe I need to go back and re-examine. I'm talking about pedophilia, and all of my tribes are bad tribes. Like, they're all bad. They're all bad. They're all bad.
Well, my point, I guess my overall point is we're all in tribes. And the way that the US is going, it's more separatist and more tribal, less inclusive of tribes, which kind of really skews over to your side of so I'm not that far away, but that was the whole thought of tribalization in America, because we are getting more separated than together, and the reasoning for that is really what we're discussing here, the characteristics that start to form these tribes and galvanize them into these entities that people are discussing. And in another episode down the line, we definitely, I think, should discuss why we want to be so aggressive against other tribes and kind of dive into that. But sticking to today's topic and the fact that the characteristics are gathering people into the tribe, we can continue to discuss that. But I think we've covered a lot of really good points and really giving the listener an idea of what we feel is a sense around us that is contributing to these groups that may or may not want us in them.
Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, well, they clearly don't want me, based on our history and your ability to get in my health club without having a membership. Yeah, they might want you in tribes because you seem to get away with way more than I do. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm thinking as we talk through this, there's some people that may be in tribes and they don't even realize they're in a tribe, right? And some tribes that are formed, kind of naturally, but people don't even realize they exist. There's a book written by a guy by the name of Chris Hayes, and it's called A Colony in a Nation. It's this guy's a best-selling author, and he's won Emmys for his TV show, and he talks about how there are different colonies in America that have different rights, different levels of access, and they're treated differently because we do really live in separate tribes or colonies in America, through no fault of anyone's, except that that's kind of the way America has evolved. So
I don't think that's far off the mark for what we're discussing, because I run into relatives and other people that live in a just very different world than I live in.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, throughout, not often, but there's some that we just see on holidays, things of that nature. And
yeah,
they'll bring up things that I wouldn't even think 3 times about.
yeah, right, yeah,
Never even crossed my mind. And it's an issue for them in their day-to-day life. But I'm in
yeah,
just such a different world, different tribes, that it's
yeah,
not even that, it's not even a consideration
yeah,
issue for
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. Does this have anything to do with the caravan coming towards the Mexican border?
It doesn't.
Good, because that was a big hoax. But anyway, so Chris in his book, he talked about when he was talking about the colony or tribe that he lived in, he was talking about a very specific example. He was going to the Democratic National Convention. And when you go in the convention, before you go through the door, I think he was going to cover it as like a, I don't know if it was, and I don't remember, a college reporter or whatever, or somebody right out of college or whatever. But he's going to the Democratic National Convention, and they have metal detectors and they have security people checking bags. And he realizes in his bag is a bag of weed, right?
Okay.
And he's like, oh, heck, there's a bag of weed in my bag. And after he's handed it to the cop, and he's thinking, I'm going to jail. I
Mhm.
am going to jail, because this was, years ago before weed
Yeah.
was widely accepted in America and illegal in every state. And he's like, I am going to jail today while I try to get in the Democratic National Convention. And he's like, the cop looks at it, looks in his bag, kind of sees the weed, and he's like, hands him his bag, he's like, all right, have a good night. And he was like, that's when he realized that there are different colonies or tribes in America. And whatever tribe that officer was in, he felt like he was in the same tribe as Chris Hayes,
Yep.
because he took a bag of weed into the Democratic National Convention, right?
Yep.
And I'm not in that tribe. I'm not sure if you would be in that tribe, but you know that if I step to the security gate at the Democratic National Convention and they found a big bag of weed in my bag, I wouldn't be doing this podcast now, right? I'd be on, you and I would be on the other side of, huh?
You'd be tasered.
Yeah, right, exactly, right. You and I would be having this conversation in between some glass. There'd be some fiberglass in between us right now, right?
Right.
So,
Well, I think we've touched on a lot of good points. I hope that the people listening here kind of reflect on their place in their tribes, and even if they haven't thought about it before, they are in tribes.
yeah, right, right. We're all in tribes. Yeah, look around. You're in a tribe.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some people are like, oh, maybe I am in a tribe. Okay, right. And other people are like, hey, I'm going to start a tribe, right? So
That's
yeah,
right.
I think you're absolutely correct. And remember, if you want to have a good tribe, call Jim. If you want the gangster tribe, call Argyle.
That's right. We got all the bases
We
covered.
got all the bases covered, right?
All right, everyone. Thanks for your time. And
Hey, Jim, good seeing you, man. Always good to see you.
Yep.
Love talking to you. So,
Oh, yeah. Yep. We will continue this conversation because I think we have a lot more topics on this on tribalization in America to cover.
all right. I'll see you next time, man. I'll see everybody else next time too.
All
I'm
right.
Argyle.
This is Jim. Stay happy.
See you later.
Bye.